officer and seek the OAS Cybersecurity program, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you today to this launch. I was the one sending all the emails to asking for confirmation, so thank you very much for your enthusiastic response. We're very happy to be with you today, and we're looking at in promoting today a very enriching dialogue on the participation of women in the cybersecurity field. But before that, let me introduce our guests, our distinguished guests that are with us today. And then I'm gonna explain a little bit about the agenda. But as I said before, as we've been in the panel all day long, the objective right now is to have a more relaxed conversation, co-creative dialogue we're naming in preparation of this Women and Cybersecurity Network, empowerment network that we would like to launch. So again, thank you very much, and I'm pleased also to welcome our dear guest. With us is today Alison August-Treppel, Executive Secretary of SIGTE of the OAS. We have also with us Ambassador Phillips Barron, a OAS representative in the Bahamas. And we were also delighted and very happy to receive today Jennifer Bacchus, Principal Deputy Assistant and Secretary of the Bureau, it's a long name, Bureau of Cyberspace and Digital Security of the Government of the United States. And also, it's our pleasure to welcome today Kemba Walden, Active National Cyber Director of the White House. On the table also with us is Samitra McKinney, who helped us tremendously to plan this launch. It's manager of the Bahamas CSIRT. We have also Muriana McPherson, Director of Cybersecurity at the National Data Management Authority of Guyana. It's also with us Carrie Ann Barrett, Cybersecurity Program Manager of SIGTE in the OAS. And finally, last but not least, Karina Miranda, consultant on cybersecurity and business continuity, and also researcher in Tec de Monterrey, Mexico. So thank you very much to our distinguished guests to be with us. It was quite important for us to have you here to share more about the Women in Cybersecurity Empowerment Network. And as I said, thank you very much for answering my emails and confirming your participation. So without taking more of the microphone, I will pass it to our Executive Secretary, Alison August-Treppel.
Thanks, Katia. And I'm assuming we're doing all of this in English, correct?
Yeah.
We have interpretation? No.
Yeah, we have interpretation.
We do have interpretation?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my remarks are in English anyway, but también quisiera dar la más cordial bienvenida, ¿no?, a todas las de habla hispana. Gracias por estar acá. So thank you all for coming to this special lunch session. As you will soon hear from my esteemed colleagues, we are very much hoping that all of you, plus many, many other talented cyber women professionals across the region will help us build a strong network of women professionals working in cybersecurity. And in fact, we not only want to bring all of you together, we want to help empower you, and again, all of the millions of other women professionals working in this field. And that is precisely why we are creating this network, Women in Cybersecurity Empowerment Network, or NICE. Sounds like wise. Wise women, nice. We are envisioning this network as a means for providing access to resources, for facilitating opportunities for growth and development. We're having some technical challenges. Do I have my audio team with me here? We hope that this network can help integrate gender and diversity into regional cybersecurity practices. But ultimately, our hope is that this WISE network can help close the cybersecurity gender gap and promote a more inclusive and supportive environment for women working in this field. Promoting women remains one of the most significant challenges that the cybersecurity industry faces today. We heard earlier, I think in Nina's presentation, I saw her standing over here earlier. She shared some of the facts, but let me just quickly highlight that we know today women occupy only 25% of cybersecurity positions globally. This gap is even more noticeable in the top level cybersecurity roles, with only 17% of Chief Information Security Officers, CISOs, filled by women. This has to change. Research shows that the lack of female representation in the industry impedes economic development, undermines efforts to make cyberspace more secure, and narrows perspectives and limits creativity and innovation within the industry. We know that this cybersecurity gender gap can also impact the effectiveness of cybersecurity policies, both at the national and regional levels, which we know can be strengthened significantly by taking into consideration diverse viewpoints. So to counter this reality, we need to promote recruitment and retention policies that are inclusive of all genders and also creates a culture that supports diversity and inclusivity. Discrimination, lack of awareness, insufficient information, and ultimately just even a lack of encouragement all contribute to this gender gap. So how to address those underlying issues is what brings us all here today. As you heard me mention at the opening remarks, and I promise I won't drone on and on about this, but I am particularly proud of the role that we have played in promoting a more diverse and inclusive cybersecurity environment in the region. This is a growing priority for our area. We have helped strengthen the technical skills of over 2,000 women from 26 countries through diverse initiatives, including Cyber Women Challenges. We work to provide specialized training in cyber negotiations for women diplomats from throughout the Americas. And more recently, thanks to a very generous contribution from the Government of Canada, we have recently launched a project called Closing the Gender Gap in the Cybersecurity Agenda of the Americas, whose sole purpose really aspires to address the root causes of gender inequality in our region's cybersecurity sector. The creation of this network is an integral part of this 3-year effort. But in order for this network to be successful, it has to represent women's, yours, ours, interests, and priorities. And so today, we need your support. I am privileged and honored to be surrounded here by an extremely inspiring group of women leaders in cybersecurity. Kemba, Jen, Phyllis, Samitria, Buriana, Karina, Carrie Ann. Each, well, not all of them, but many of them will be sharing their own experiences and recommendations for how to promote and strengthen women's participation in this field. But we don't want the inspiration to stop at the end of their interventions. We want to build on the momentum and hear from all of you extremely talented women. We want to hear about your goals, your aspirations, and yes, your frustrations, but we don't want to focus on that too much. We really want to hear about how this network can serve all women working in cybersecurity and how we, with our little tiny grain of sand, as we say in the OAS, how we can contribute to fostering more inspired, more motivated, and empowered women leaders in the cybersecurity field. So thank you for being here. I encourage you all to participate. I know the space is small, but in this lunch session or throughout the course of this event, please, we want to hear from you. So you know the SICTE team, Carrie Ann Barrett, Katya, who is the program lead on this particular initiative. Anyone from the SICTE team who is here, please make sure you come up and tell us your thoughts, your perspectives. We really do want to hear from you. So special thanks to Kemba, who will be leaving us shortly for another commitment, but we really are grateful to have you here with us. Thank you.
Good. And I apologize in advance that I have another commitment.
There we go.
I have another commitment to go to, so I will get up from the table and leave, but know that my heart and spirit is here in this room, and it's an honor to me to be in this room. And so I'm going to give you a couple of remarks that hopefully will be inspiring. I tend to not like to put myself on display, but in my journey, one of the things that helped me was being able to see myself in a position. And so that is important. If you leave with nothing else from me today, I just want you to leave with two facts. First is that you belong in cybersecurity. All of you, each of you belong in cybersecurity. The second is, if young women don't see us, they can't imagine themselves in this space. So I know that some of you are like me, I'm an introvert, and I don't like to project myself. But know that that is important in this space. So if there's two things that you walk away, know that you belong in this space and that it is our responsibility that we uplift and make sure that others see us so that they can imagine themselves in the space. Now, give you a little bit of background from me. I'm extraordinarily grateful that here I'm able to participate in the OAS Cyber Symposium. Of course, I'm here representing the United States. The United States is a strong partner, I'd like to think, SICTE. But I'm also a daughter of the Bahamas. Another strong partner in SICTE. And this is how I show up. I went to high school here in the Bahamas. I was one of those young women, and it was rare at the time, it was in the 80s, that really thrived in physics and chemistry. That was my jam. Those were the things that I really did well. But then as I went on and completed more education, I ended up doing a master's in public administration, focused on international development. Why? Because I'm a daughter of the Bahamas, and I really needed to be in a place where I could help communities thrive and prosper safely. That is why I did international development, sort of putting my technical acumen aside for a minute. I realized that economic opportunity is difficult from the ground up, necessary, but difficult without some sort of security or safety at that macro level. And so I went to law school and became a lawyer. I'm a national security lawyer in practice. Cybersecurity is my specialty. And so in my career, just to be very short, I was in former Soviet Union, Tbilisi, Georgia. I know not very relevant to this region. But there, I was one of the only women, I was the only Black woman in that space in a security role focused on development. And it's there that I started to hear my own voice. I had to, in order to be able to be in those spaces. As a national security lawyer in the United States, I was almost always the only woman in the room, and had to then lean on that voice, lean it forward. But it wasn't until I got to the White House as the Principal Deputy National Cyber Director and now the Acting National Cyber Director, really able to lead policy, that I understood that those women that might want to follow behind me hadn't necessarily seen themselves in those spaces. I understood that not only did I need to be present in these spaces in a very visible way, but I also understand cybersecurity well. It is a sticky, complicated challenge. It can be ugly and nasty at times. There are adversaries that are as diverse as the good guys, right? We can't afford to have a homogeneous, a one type of person addressing these challenges. We have to lean into our diversity. You have to be a part of that process because cybersecurity, cyber attacks are diverse in nature. The response has to be diverse. So we need every perspective, every set of experiences, women, men, other cultures into this space in order to be able to make it work. And so I'm here to put myself on blast as a daughter of the Bahamas and as a representative of the United States to explain that we need each other to be able to get after this problem together. My cybersecurity is only as good as all of your cybersecurity in all of these countries. And I am so thrilled to see that all of you are in this room representing your countries in this particular space. And now my staff is telling me we've got to go. But my heart will be and my spirit is with you here. So thank you for indulging me for the few moments.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I have the same commitment.
You are too?
Sorry.
Okay.
Mic is off. Okay. Thank you very much to Kemba. It was crucial for us to create this space and also to have her endorsement. So we were delighted when we knew that she could join us. I will move now to ask Samitria McKinney to give us also some remarks, and I will also, again, thank you for helping us to do this lunch possible.
More power, more power. That's what I do. Thank you for that. I'm gonna go off script a little bit. I know you told me 4 minutes to welcome. But after listening to Kimber and everyone else, I thought it was appropriate to change a little bit about what I want to say to you. As always, I'm delighted to see women in spaces like this, and I am delighted to be here at this Cybersecurity Empowerment Luncheon. When I look around this room, what I see is a tribe of women, and I really enjoy using the term tribe simply because it implies that we're working together to address a common goal, and we're about solutions. We are helping one another, and that's important to me. Most of you who have had the opportunity to know me and work with me know that when we speak, I always talk about how can we serve one another and help one another. And I want to make a call to action that while we're here today in this room, that extends outside the help that I'm asking from you and the help that I want to be able to provide to you as the CERT manager representative of cybersecurity in the Bahamas extends outside of this room. And it's for all of you to take advantage of. I'm here to help in whichever way I can. As the CERT manager of the Bahamas, I get real excited when we talk about issues that impact women. And also, as a woman from South Andros, Bahamas, I understand, of course I'm gonna say that, because I understand the limitations and opportunities for women in cybersecurity, and that it's important for us at the CERT, it's important for us at the national level to create mechanisms and programs to get women into the pipeline and to keep them there. It's also important for us to educate them and create safe spaces. And I'm preaching on safe simply because there are spaces, but sometimes when we're in those spaces appear challenging to us for us to simply do the job that we're asked to do. So, I know you said 4 minutes. How am I doing on time? I'm good. So, as we go out to excel in this industry, I want to leave 2 things with you. First of all, representation matters, and I wish Kimba was here because I wanted to say this. I'm a fangirl of Kimba, and I'm inspired by her. And so I'm hoping that in these types of spaces, when we see each other doing this work, that we too can recognize that we belong, similar to what she said, and there is space for all of us. And sometimes that looks different. I know we normally go and we talk about what is technical, or who is the cybersecurity professional. And so the reason why I'm bringing that up is because at this table, we have an attorney, we have a cert manager, we have people at strategic levels and different levels. It's important to know that when you join the space of cybersecurity, that there's no one mold, there's no one shape. You can be an awareness practitioner, you can be a researcher, you can be any version of the job to get the job done. And then, so thank you so very much. Do I have more time? Because I could go on to. I have. I want to thank everyone for coming. I want to take this time to just put a plug for CERT BS. While Kimba was speaking, I started to think about who are we and what are we doing in this space as it relates to women. And shameful plug, but at CERT BS, the National CERT of the Bahamas, we have a total team of 10 persons, and 5 of them are women, and that's intentional. And so if we're going to make changes in this space, then we have to be intentional. I happen to be a woman, and many of my team members, you'll see them there at that table, they're all women, and they come in different shapes and forms, and they bring different expertise, and I appreciate that diversity in the team. And working with Karen, you can tell that when we work together, there's tons of expertise just coming together, because there's someone from policy, there's someone from awareness, there's someone from technology, and we all have something to add to the conversation of cybersecurity and protecting the country and managing cyber risk. And now I think I'm done, so thank you so much for listening.
Samitra, thanks also for keeping in mind the time. I will now pass the mic to Carrie Ann Barrett, our project manager in the OAS SIG to Cybersecurity program.
To each of you for actually being with us and joining us here. Katya is the mastermind behind this lunch and this initiative, so I just want to acknowledge her. She doesn't like when I do it, but this is what we call her brainchild. And we've been, Alison and I have been supporting this initiative because we believe in the power that it could actually do. So today, while they put my PowerPoint on the screen, just waiting for that to head up. My goal is to take the next 5 minutes or less just to briefly walk you through, we're going to go through what this initiative is. So what is the OAS doing? And just to continue on Alison's remark, we've been implementing capacity building for the past 20 years. And in 2018, we actually started to drill down some more on gender. We launched our Cyber Women Challenge. We developed a white paper on gender online violence. We also did an initial phase of activities in 2020 just to promote cybersecurity equality. By 2022, we actually made a crazy proposal to the Canadian government. We're like, how if we do an entire project on cybersecurity? And they supported us, I think, because of the work that we did before. In 2023, we pretty much gave birth to the WISE network, which we're hoping will continue to grow and be a strong network. What is it? It's a new approach to addressing cybersecurity. We're hoping it will become an international benchmark because our goal is to ensure that not only do we talk about the gender gap, but we actually do concrete research, we do training, we do tailor-made initiatives such as this one to bring the networks together. Inclusivity and gender sensitivity is not something that is common, even within the Caribbean. We tend to have more women leaders sometimes. But one of the things we've recognized in the OAS is that equality of women taking that space, it's not that common for both Latin America and the Caribbean in the space of ICT. It's something that is very unequal. As such, we have been working on mainstreaming. What does mainstreaming mean? It means that not everywhere you're going to see a sentence gender, 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 gender. The idea is not to have a woman at the table or fill the room with women. The idea is that when they're at the table, they feel as if they belong there. They feel as if they could speak there. So mainstreaming for us goes along SICTE's three main pillars, which is policy development, capacity building, and research. We believe in having baseline studies. We believe in ensuring that the training is based on baseline study and then implementing policies to support that. As such, we've been doing several activities, one of which we now have a MOOC, an online mass open platform, where we have a training that targets three different profiles: the victim, public policy, and the general public on how to stay safe online. I currently have it in Spanish. We're going to be launching it in English later this year. We've been reviewing national cybersecurity strategies. Costa Rica has been one of the main beneficiaries of this more recently, where we've gone through the strategy and included things related to gender. We have research, and we are trying to form alliances with established networks such as WUMSI. Our goal as OAS SICTE is not to replace what exists. It's not to begin that crab barrel kind of attitude, but to build on what already exists and where there are synergies to complement each other. We'll be having an annual mentoring fair and exchange good practices with women who are already in the field. And as I looked across, one of the persons from Jamaica actually looked over, and this is we have some very young professionals. We have a 24-year-old who is now doing forensic science. That is something that is unheard of, usually, and part of a high intelligence investigation group. So we do have women, and they need older women to be able to say, hey, this is where your career should go. The idea of WISE is to create a supportive community, a community not just to talk shop, but to say, hey, I'm doing this. What were your pitfalls? How can I learn from you? Or you may have an idea and you realize that you and another organization can come together and you can make magic for the benefit of the region. The community will thrive through transformative change, us challenging the norm and us pushing through barriers. And what we try to do with our co-creative dialogues is actually to think about how can we make this network work? This network is ours. It's not the OAS SICTE saying, hey, we want you to just join. We're saying, hey, we want you to come alongside us. Come alongside us to shape what it could become. Come alongside us to see who we could become. Because in doing the transformative change, it's not just for the network, but it's for the persons who are part of the network. As such, WISE members come from a variety of backgrounds. We have persons, as Sumitra said, I'm an attorney, never thought I would land in cybersecurity. Sumitra is a techie by birth, and she's still a techie, but now she's doing policy. So there's a flip in her role, but she's still in cyber. And then we have Alison, who actually comes from a multi-dimensional security background, and she now can speak cyber without blinking an eye. And it's something we never expected. But one of the things we're hoping this network does is to create strategic partnerships among us all. Our principles are empowerment, equality, diversity, and inclusion, and collective action. So for those of us who are in the room who are male, we really welcome that as we go along with this network, we'll start to have that kind of synergy. Our building blocks is networking, primarily communication and exchange of information. We have webinars that we facilitate, capacity building. The mentoring, we are going to start formalizing that more, and our idea is to produce knowledge to be able to promote equality, diversity, and accessibility in cyber. With that said, we are not just public sector. The beauty of the OAS is that we believe in multi-stakeholderism. So public sector, private sector, academia, civil society, technical persons, youth, we're hoping to be able to start to build these sections out. As such, we are welcoming you to just share your ideas with us. The whole goal of today is to ensure that we create and facilitate that space that you're able to talk. It may be a short conversation today, but it doesn't end here, it will continue. On that note, I hand back over to Katia. Thank you.
My mic, that's it. Thank you very much, Kerry, for the review and for showing a little bit of what we've been doing during the last years. So thanks for that. And now the idea is to show you one of the research that we recently know. It's been produced by the Tec de Monterrey. So I have with me Karina Virarda, who's going to present a policy paper on women's participation in cybersecurity in the Ibero-American countries. And then from there, we're going to move to the open dialogue. Hopefully, we're going to have time to listen to you. And if not, I have the best excuse to plan another virtual or in-person dialogue. So you'll be receiving my emails. So we can also have time to go back to the main conference room. So having said that, we need the PowerPoint for Karina. Thank you. So the floor is yours. Friends, can you try it?
Oh. Hello. 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 Okay. And Katia, you got the. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay. Hello, everyone. Challenge. Okay. Here, can you hear me? Yes? No? Hello? Right now? Okay. Hello, everyone. It's a great honor and pleasure to have been invited by the OAS Sector Cybersecurity Program. Thank you to the government of AMA for welcoming us. Representing the Cybersecurity Hub of Tecnológico de Monterrey and Microsoft, am I grateful? Yes, here? Here? Okay, perfect. I'm very grateful for providing us with these spaces to mutually enrich and inspire each other. We have prepared a report from the Hub, will be published soon. This policy paper tailored participation of women in cybersecurity in Spanish-speaking countries in Ibero-America is the outcome of all collective efforts. Okay, perfect. Please allow me to express my gratitude to my colleagues who have contributed to the creation of the service, analysis and research, and the development of the policy papers. This work has been carried out by the multidisciplinary team for professionals from different countries. Flavia Poi, professional in international relations from Spain, Evelyn Rodon, researching in educational topics from Peru, Karina Virarda, cybersecurity specialist from Argentina, Barbara Marcioli, legal specialist in cybersecurity from Brazil, Gabriela Reinaga, specialist in corporate governance of information technology from Mexico, and all of these over the overall coordination of the director of the Cybersecurity Hub at the Tecnológico Tec de Monterrey, Gonzalo Garcia Belengar. Well, this is the agenda, but we have only a few minutes. But what has been the purpose of this study? It has been to provide information about the presence of women in the field of cybersecurity in Spanish-speaking countries in Ibero-America, in order to understand the current situation between organizations. Okay. Okay. But what has been the purpose of this study? It has been provide. Oh, sorry. With 2 buttons is strange for me. We believe this study is distinctive features that make it unique. Number 1, it demonstrates the representation of women in cybersecurity in Ibero-America. Number 2,
It assesses the presence of gender-related programs and quotas aimed at promoting women's participation between organizations. Number 3, it provides up-to-date data on gender, salary, and gender equity programs. And number 4, it contributes to understanding of gender equity in cybersecurity. Okay, scope. We have received responses for 16 countries out of the 22 we contacted. We consider a significant level of participant and response. You can see the country in the picture. And the methodology, study type, comparative, descriptive, technique, service, organizations, and woman, region, Iberoamerica, data collection, period, 12 weeks, very short time. Total number of participants, 940 in total, but 546 response for organizations and 394 from women survey. We are very pleased with this extensive participation. Statistical process is PSS version 29, unethical consideration, informed consent, voluntary participation, and anonymity. Okay, this is a general context related to the report, but the results is in summary due to time. Okay, thank you very much. In summary, due to time constraints, we highlight the following key points from the organization's perspective. Some sectors, such as information and finance, lead the implementation of cybersecurity areas, while the public administration and education show less progress in this regard. Number 2, the representation of women in high-level positions in cybersecurity is extremely limited, with only 8% in C-level positions. There is a significant unawareness of gender quota policies between organizations. And 4, inclusion programs include leadership initiative, specific training, and opportunity to obtain cybersecurity certifications. This is more data about our inform, but now we are going to below the key findings related of women are summarized. Okay, about the salary. Monthly salary perceived according to the age range for age from 26 to 40 years of age, the most common salary range are less than $1,000 and $2,500 in this range of age. Point number 2, an interesting fact is that 16% of women do not have certifications relating in cybersecurity. However, we found that 49% of the surveyed women have master's level qualification, but only 30% participate and collaborate in associations relating to this subject. We think networking holds significant importance. Here there are more information and details we can show you in the next presentation, and some recommendations. Here are only some recommendations based on the findings and analysis, implemented measurable strategies, national policies, and cybersecurity programs that promote gender equality when at a specific budget allocation in this sector. Number 2, raise awareness about the cross-disciplinary nature of the cybersecurity education by incorporating different fields and areas of knowledge. And last but not least, offer free. It could be relationship with capacity building offer free memberships for a limited time to young women or individuals with low incomes, or those new to the field, regardless of their age, to encourage their active participation. Okay, it's all my time. Thank you very much. I can conclude my presentation. And thank you very much.
It's important for us to underline that there are not many studies on women's participation in the cybersecurity agenda. There is a global one, which is probably the one that you all know, with that 25%, but we don't have data about the region, so that's is the latest one. Karina told us that it will be released in 1 month, so we encourage you to be in contact with Karina to have the report as soon as it releases. And as Carrie and Alison said, we're going to be working with WOMC to develop a region report on how we are participating in the cybersecurity field. So we're late, as you know. I'm going to pass the microphone to Muriana McPherson, who has the task to open the dialogue, but now closing the dialogue. And just I will send you an invitation for a virtual dialogue so we can follow up with the questions that I sent, and that to avoid you distracting you more over here instead of going to the panel. So Muriana, thanks for being with us today, and the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, and all protocols having been observed. I am deeply appreciative of this opportunity to share with you my experience and my viewpoint as it relates to women's participation in cybersecurity. I would like to begin with a full disclosure. It was never my intention to work in the ICT field, much less cyber. In fact, I wanted to be a businesswoman, and I did my undergraduate in business management. However, my first job landed me in the ICT field. It was a female director of the central bank who wanted another female with no working experience to join the central bank and to learn all the applications that are used by the bank and teach the staff as well as offer support. Now, those were the days with no internet, no Google, YouTube, no chat, GPT, and those were the days of black screen, blue screen, green screen, and learning command prompts. I was the only female in the unit, never seen a computer or touch a computer in my life prior to joining the bank. And so what did I do? I was determined to succeed, and I used the best tool I know about, reading. So those were the days when you had all the help menus and you could have read everything and learned and through trial and error. One of the key things I learned as well is the importance of passing on knowledge. As you learn and you teach others, you learn more because others ask you questions, you may not know the answer, and you have to go find it. And so if I'm going to leave one thing with you, it doesn't matter where your starting point is. You can begin from anywhere. I used to think that I have to know all of this information that was passed before. But no, you can start anywhere. You can achieve what you want to achieve, and you can be determined to do so. One of the things, recognizing that I'm now in the ICT field, and I fell in love with that field, I decided to pursue a master's in computer science. As a result of that, I was put in the leadership position in the IT department at the bank to manage the bank's ICT infrastructure as well as a support unit. How did I manage? Again, I buried myself in the work, in reading and ensuring I research and do a lot of trial and error. That birthed the desire. At that time, the viruses and the knowledge of viruses were becoming more prevalent, and I recognized that working at the bank and being responsible for the bank's ICT infrastructure, I needed to look to ways in which I can ensure that the bank's infrastructure remains secure. And so that birthed with me the desire for information security, and I followed up the Certified Information Security Professional Exam, CSSP, in 2014. That opened the door for me to be seconded from the bank into the government to lead the national cybersecurity efforts there. Hence, I'm at the National Data Management Authority. The cybersecurity started with one person, yours truly, and now there are 27 of us. That's in almost 8 years. Nevertheless, we just have 8 emails. One of the things I've done, recognizing that in our educational system, and that is common throughout the Caribbean, there aren't any subject matter for cybersecurity that is taught in schools. As a matter of fact, in the Caribbean, all the secondary education revolve around the CSEC, Caribbean Secondary Educational Examinations. And I found out from our representative in Guyana, the CXC representative in Guyana, that the way in which we can include cybersecurity on the curriculum is by collectively doing a research and writing the CXC. Now, I did one for Guyana, and one of the ways, one of the recommendations, even as we look at cybersecurity in the Caribbean, is to call on my counterparts to do the same, do a local research, and establish a need for cybersecurity. If you ask, and we did this last week, I was at a secondary school doing awareness training, and we asked the students if they see themselves in cyber or any career in cyber. The reality is that not one of them saw themselves in cyber, and that is because they are not taught or exposed to cyber from a young age. So from a young age, we teach persons about becoming a doctor, a lawyer, teacher, nurse, fireman, policeman, etc. But cybersecurity is unheard of, and we need to change that if we're going to attract more persons and yet alone more females to the cybersecurity discipline. I did a small, just a brief information gathering among my counterparts represented here. And I recognize that in Trinidad, there's 7 of them, 3 are females. In Jamaica, there's 6 persons in the CERT, 4 are females. In the Bahamas, we heard earlier, there are 10 persons, 5 are females. They have been able to achieve some level of gender balance. And what I do know is that there are quite a number of industries represented in those countries that offer cybersecurity-related training. In my country, there's an absence of that. Another thing I've noticed, looking at the statistics, is that I have checked the University of the West Indies that have presence in 4 Caribbean territories. I've checked the University of the Bahamas, and University of Guyana. And none of these universities offer any cybersecurity education degrees, programs. We have to think about strategies as how we can change this if we are going to succeed as Caribbean territories, speaking specifically to Caribbean, in terms of encouraging the growth of the cybersecurity skills within the Caribbean. Now, there was a report, and I'm looking at my notes to see the report. There was a report that was developed by the OAS and the IDB. Thank you. I'm told that my time is up. But there's a 2020 report in which they recognize the cybersecurity workforce is lacking, and they give a number of the deficiency as it relates to the workforce. A couple recommendations I have in closing is that as we think about women in cybersecurity in the network, one of the quick wins we can do is hosting of boot camps for young women, high school students during the summer vacation, which we know as July, August, to introduce them to cybersecurity, to introduce them to what the career in cybersecurity would look like, to sort of whet the appetite so that they can begin thinking about cybersecurity. I heard the mention of the mentorship program earlier, which is a brilliant idea. And of course, with a mentorship program, you require persons who have been in the field to help train others. And I am willing to help mentor others as well, to help them understand that you can see yourself in cyber, you can make a difference. Any limit you see is a limit that you place on yourself, because there is no limit to anything you want to achieve. You can achieve it once you're determined to achieve it. There is a way. And so my challenge to you is today to find a way to succeed in cyber. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Muriana. She was our inspiring keynote today, so thank you very much. To close and open the dialogue for later, because I just want to remind you that we have a cocktail at the end of this first day of symposium. So over there, hopefully we will be able to exchange more about the challenges, ideas, the things that we have to take into consideration while forming together the WISE network. Having said that, thank you very much to all the women that joined us on the table and all the women behind in the backstage, and obviously all of you for joining us today. And before my team tells me that I'm keeping you here for a long time, I'm closing today, and I invite you to join the main conference room. Thank you very much.